What if I told you that staying spiritually strong in a world that doesn't understand you is not just possible, but it's the key to unlocking your true power? Right now, countless people are abandoning their spiritual paths, pulled away by a society designed to distract, control, and silence the very light they carry. But what if this isn't an accident? What if ancient wisdom, hidden for centuries, holds the secret to standing firm in your truth, no matter how loud the world gets? They don't want you to discover this, because a spiritually resilient soul is unshakable, unstoppable, and immune to the illusions they create. You can either stay stuck in the noise, or you can learn how to rise above it and become the light this world desperately needs. Imagine this: a small flame burning in the middle of a storm. The winds howl, the rain pours, but that flame doesn't extinguish. Why? Because it's protected by something invisible, something you can't quite see but can always feel. A sacred shield. That flame is your spirit. No matter how chaotic the world becomes, that light within you is eternal, untouchable, and unwavering. And today, you're going to learn how to keep that flame alive, how to guard it fiercely, and how to let it shine so brightly that it transforms the very storm surrounding it. You see, the world is loud. It's noisy with expectations, judgments, and distractions pulling you in 1,000 directions at once. It's a place where material success is celebrated over inner peace, and where fitting in often feels like the only option. But here's the thing: you were never meant to fit in. Your journey is not about blending into a world obsessed with superficiality. It's about standing firm in your truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel. Right now, you might be questioning your path. Maybe people around you don't understand your choices. Maybe they tell you to be realistic, to abandon your spiritual practices for something more practical. But ask yourself, whose voice are you listening to? Theirs? Or the quiet, steady voice within you, the one that has guided you through your darkest moments, the one that knows your worth even when others don't? Here's the truth: the world has always misunderstood those who walk a spiritual path. From mystics to sages, from visionaries to seekers, they've all faced doubt, ridicule, and rejection. But they didn't let that stop them, and neither should you. Their secret wasn't in fighting the world, but in anchoring themselves so deeply in their purpose that the noise of the world couldn't touch them. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the ocean. On the surface, the waves crash violently, restless and chaotic. But deep below the ocean is calm, steady, and unshaken. Your spirit is that deep ocean, untouched by the turbulence above. The key is learning how to live from that depth, to root yourself so deeply in your truth that the surface noise no longer has power over you. This begins with one simple but profound realization: you don't need external validation. You don't need others to approve of your spiritual path. The validation you seek can only come from within. When you stop chasing the world's approval, you reclaim the energy you've been giving away. You become free to explore the depths of who you are, free to align with your higher self, and free to live authentically. But how do you do that in a world that's constantly pulling you away from yourself? It starts with guarding your energy. Think of your energy as sacred, like a garden that needs care and protection. If you allow weeds to grow unchecked, if you let anyone trample through it, that garden loses its vibrancy. Guarding your energy means saying no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you. It's about creating boundaries, not walls to shut people out, but sacred lines that protect your peace. You can begin by asking yourself, where is my energy going? Is it being consumed by toxic relationships, endless scrolling on social media, or trying to meet unrealistic expectations? Or is it being nurtured by moments of stillness, connection, and alignment? Every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your spirit. When you become intentional about where you invest your energy, you reclaim your power. Here's a practice for you. Every morning, take a moment to visualize yourself surrounded by a golden light. This light represents your inner strength, your divine essence. As you go through your day, imagine this light expanding with every breath, shielding you from negativity and distraction. This isn't just a visualization. It's a statement to the universe that you value your energy and will protect it fiercely. And yet, protecting your energy is only the beginning. To stay spiritually strong, you must also feed your spirit. Just like your body needs nourishment, so does your soul. Spend time in nature, where the wisdom of the universe reveals itself in every leaf, every sunrise, and every breeze. Meditate, not to escape the world, but to connect more deeply with it. Journal your thoughts, your fears, your hopes, and your gratitude, because when you put your inner world into words, you gain clarity and strength. But above all, trust in your path. Trust that the challenges you face are not here to break you, but to build you. Every moment of doubt, every misunderstanding, every rejection is a stepping stone toward your growth. The world may not understand you now, but that doesn't mean your journey is any less valid. Often the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Unseen by the world, but deeply felt by the soul. Think about a seed buried in the dark soil. It doesn't question the darkness. It trusts that it's part of the process. It knows that in time it will break through the surface and reach the light. You are that seed. The struggles you face now are the fertile soil from which your spirit will grow. Trust in the process. Trust that every challenge, every moment of isolation, is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. And when you feel alone, remember this. You are not walking this path for the world's approval. You are walking it because it's your soul's calling. And no matter how misunderstood you feel, the universe sees you. It celebrates every step you take toward your truth, every act of courage, and every moment of faith. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most out of place. Maybe it was at a gathering where conversations revolved around superficial topics. Or perhaps it was at work, where the focus was solely on profits and achievements, with no room for authenticity or connection. In those moments, you might have felt invisible, like your truth didn't matter. But here's what I want you to understand. Those moments weren't just about being misunderstood. They were a mirror, reflecting the uniqueness of your journey. You see, the discomfort you feel in these situations is not a flaw. It's a sign that you're meant to walk a different path, one that aligns with your higher values. The very things that make you feel like an outsider are often the same things that make you extraordinary. Your sensitivity to the world's energy, your deep need for meaning, your unwillingness to settle for surface-level existence. These are gifts, not burdens. They're your compass, guiding you toward a life of purpose and authenticity. But here's where it gets challenging. The world often rewards conformity, not authenticity. It's easier to go along with the crowd, to say what others want to hear, to hide your spiritual practices out of fear of judgment. And yet, every time you dim your light to make others comfortable, you step further away from your truth. The world doesn't need more people who fit in. It needs people like you, who dare to be different, who dare to be real. Think of the spiritual leaders and visionaries who came before you. They weren't celebrated for fitting in. They were celebrated for standing out, for challenging the norms, for living boldly in their truth. They faced ridicule, rejection, and isolation, but they didn't let that stop them. Why? Because they knew something most people didn't. The power of living authentically far outweighs the discomfort of being misunderstood. Rejection would be painful, but otherwise justified. For the most comprehensive exercise in creating a better world, the business of do you stay true to yourself in a world that doesn't always understand you? It starts with embracing solitude. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's a sacred space where you can reconnect with your inner self, free from the noise of the world. When you take time to be alone, to sit in stillness, you begin to hear the whispers of your soul. You start to remember who you are beyond the roles you play and the expectations placed upon you. Make solitude a daily practice, even if it's just 5 minutes. Let those moments be a time to ground yourself, to breathe deeply, to align with your higher self. In the silence, you'll find clarity. In the stillness, you'll find strength. And in the space between distractions, you'll discover the truth that has always been within you. But solitude alone is not enough. To thrive spiritually, you must also learn to live as an example. This doesn't mean preaching your beliefs or trying to change others. It means embodying your values so fully that your life becomes a silent testimony to the power of spirituality. When you live in alignment with your truth, people will notice, not because you told them to, but because your energy speaks louder than words ever could. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships or demand attention, it simply stands tall, shining its light, guiding those who are lost. In the same way, your job isn't to convince others of your path. It's to walk it with such grace and authenticity that it inspires others to find their own. And here's the paradox. The more you stay true to yourself, the less you'll feel the need for others to understand you. You'll realize that the opinions of others, while loud, have no power over your spirit. You'll find peace in the knowing that your worth is not tied to their approval, but to the unwavering truth of who you are. Now, let's talk about trust. Trust in the process, trust in the universe, and trust in yourself. One of the greatest challenges on the spiritual path is learning to have faith even when you can't see the results of your growth. There will be times when it feels like nothing is changing, when the struggles seem endless, and the breakthroughs feel out of reach. But remember this, the seed doesn't question the darkness of the soil. It trusts that the light will come. Every step you take on your journey is a step toward your higher self, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Trust that every challenge is teaching you something. Every delay is aligning you with divine timing, and every detour is leading you exactly where you need to be. The universe doesn't work on human timelines. It works on divine timing. And when you align with that timing, miracles happen. So when the world feels heavy, when doubt creeps in, and when you wonder if it's all worth it, remind yourself of this. You are not walking this path alone. The same divine energy that moves the stars, that causes the tides to rise and fall, is moving through you. You are connected to something far greater than yourself, and that connection will never abandon you. In those moments of doubt, pause and place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady beat, a rhythm that has been with you since the moment you were born. That beat is a reminder, a sacred drum, echoing the truth that you are alive for a reason. You are here, in this world, at this time, because your presence matters. Your light matters. And no matter how misunderstood you may feel, the world is better because you're in it. Take a deep breath right now. And as you do, imagine drawing in not just air but the essence of the universe itself. Every inhale is a reminder that you are connected to something vast, something infinite. And every exhale is an opportunity to release the doubt, the fear, and the need for external approval. In this simple act of breathing, you're doing more than sustaining your body. You're nurturing your spirit. You're grounding yourself in the present moment where your power truly resides. Now, let's explore the idea of power. Not the kind of power the world chases, but spiritual power. True power doesn't come from controlling others or accumulating possessions. It comes from mastering yourself, from aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest truth. When you live in alignment, you radiate a quiet strength that no storm can shake. But to live in alignment, you must first be willing to let go of what no longer serves you. Let go of the beliefs that tell you you're not enough. Let go of the habits that drain your energy. Let go of the relationships that make you question your worth. This process of release isn't easy. It requires courage. But with every layer you shed, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true self. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents a burden you've been holding on to. Fear, guilt, resentment, or the need to meet others' expectations. Now picture yourself setting that backpack down, one rock at a time. Feel the relief as the weight lifts from your shoulders. This is what happens when you let go. You create space for peace, clarity, and joy to enter your life. But letting go doesn't mean escaping the world. It means engaging with it from a place of inner strength. You can't control the chaos around you, but you can choose how you respond to it. You can choose to be a calm presence in a turbulent world, a source of light in the darkness. This choice, made moment by moment, is what builds spiritual resilience. And here's something beautiful. When you choose to live this way, you inspire others to do the same. Your energy becomes a beacon, drawing people toward their own truth. You don't have to preach or persuade. Your presence alone becomes an invitation for others to awaken. This is the ripple effect of living authentically. It starts with you, but it spreads far beyond you, touching lives in ways you may never see. Think about the people who have inspired you on your journey. Maybe it was a teacher, a friend, or even a stranger whose kindness left an impression. Chances are, they weren't trying to change you, they were simply living their truth. And yet, their authenticity planted a seed in you, a seed that continues to grow. Now you have the same opportunity to be that spark for someone else. But remember, you don't have to have it all figured out to make an impact. Spiritual growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up, day after day, with an open heart and a willingness to learn. Even your struggles have value. They teach you compassion, resilience, and the strength to keep going. And when you share your journey honestly, you give others permission to do the same. As you walk this path, there will be moments of doubt, moments when the world's noise feels overwhelming. In those moments, return to your breath. Let it anchor you in the present, reminding you that this moment, right here, is enough. You are enough. Trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and that the universe is supporting you in ways you can't yet see. Now, let's talk about faith. Not blind faith in something outside of you, but a deep trust in the process of life. Faith is what allows you to keep going when the path is unclear. It's what reminds you that even in the darkest nights, the stars are still shining. Faith doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It means you'll face them with the knowing that they're part of your growth. Take a moment to reflect on your journey so far. Think of all the times you thought you wouldn't make it, and yet, here you are. Every obstacle you've overcome has prepared you for this moment. Every lesson you've learned has shaped the person you've become. Trust that the same strength that carried you through those challenges will carry you through whatever comes next. And as you move forward, let gratitude be your guide. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. It reminds you that even amidst challenges there is beauty to be found. Take a moment each day to acknowledge the blessings in your life. The sunrise, a kind word, the breath in your lungs. Gratitude doesn't just uplift your spirit. It raises your vibration, aligning you with the flow of abundance. But perhaps the greatest act of gratitude is to honor the gift of your existence. To wake up each day and choose to live with intention, courage, and love. To embrace your uniqueness, even when it feels uncomfortable. To share your light, even when it feels vulnerable. Because in doing so, you fulfill the purpose you were born for, not to conform, but to transform. And so, as you navigate this world that often misunderstands you, remember this: you are not alone. You are part of a greater tapestry, woven with threads of resilience, wisdom, and divine love. Every step you take on this path strengthens the fabric of that tapestry, and though the world may not always see or understand your journey, the universe does. It celebrates every moment you choose to stay true to yourself, every act of kindness, every leap of faith. The question is not whether you can stay spiritually strong. The question is, will you? Will you choose to trust in your journey, to embrace your truth, and to live as the light you were meant to be? The choice is yours. And no matter what you decide, know this: the world may not always understand you, but it is better because of you. Your light matters, your truth matters, and you, just as you are enough. Picture this: a single candle burning in a vast, dark room. The darkness feels overwhelming, endless, but that one tiny flame holds its ground. It doesn't try to fight the dark, it simply exists, illuminating everything within its reach. That's you. Your light may feel small in a world overshadowed by noise, doubt, and distractions, but it is powerful, because even the smallest light can transform the darkest space. But here's the truth: your light is not just for you. When you embrace your spiritual path, when you commit to living authentically, your energy becomes a gift to everyone around you. You begin to shift the energy of your environment, not by force but by simply being. Like a pebble dropped in a still pond, the ripples of your spiritual strength extend far beyond what you can see. Have you ever noticed how one person's presence can change the entire atmosphere of a room? When someone walks in with a calm, grounded energy, it has the power to diffuse tension and uplift others without a single word. That's the kind of influence your spiritual resilience creates. By staying true to your path, you inspire others to explore their own truth, even if they don't fully understand yours. But this kind of strength requires consistency. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic transformations. It's about the small, intentional choices you make every day. The choice to meditate even when you're busy. The choice to practice gratitude even when life feels heavy. The choice to forgive, to let go, to trust. These choices may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they create a foundation of unshakable strength. And here's something beautiful. As you cultivate this strength, you begin to notice the universe meeting you halfway. You start to see synchronicities, those coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. You hear a song at just the right moment, or a stranger says something that answers a question you've been silently asking. These moments aren't accidents. They're whispers from the universe, guiding you, affirming that you're on the right path. But even with this guidance, there will be moments when the weight of the world feels like too much. You may feel like your efforts are invisible, your progress too slow. In those moments, remember this: even the strongest trees grow in silence. Their roots deepen underground, unseen but vital. Your growth is no different. Just because you can't see the results right now doesn't mean they aren't happening. When doubt creeps in, return to the practices that ground you. Sit in stillness and place your hands over your heart. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the steady beat of your heart, and let these anchors remind you that you are supported, always. The very fact that you are here, in this moment, is proof of your resilience. You've already overcome so much to get to where you are. Trust that you have the strength to keep going. And here's the thing about this journey. It's not about arriving at a destination. There's no point where you suddenly become perfectly spiritual. Growth is a lifelong process, and the beauty lies in the journey itself. Every challenge, every triumph, every quiet moment of reflection is a part of your evolution. Celebrate it all. Celebrate the progress you've made, no matter how small. Celebrate the courage it takes to walk this path, even when it feels lonely. Because while the world may not always understand you, your spirit does. It knows why you're here. It knows the strength you carry, the light you bring, and the impact you're destined to make. And when you align with that knowing, when you fully embrace your truth, you become unstoppable. Not because you've conquered the world, but because you've conquered the need for the world's approval. So, as you move forward, let this be your mantra. I am enough. My path is valid. My light is needed. Repeat it as often as you need until it becomes a truth you live by. Let it remind you that you are not walking this journey for anyone else. You are walking it for yourself, for your soul, for the divine calling that brought you here. And know this: the very world that doesn't always understand you is the same world that needs your light. Your authenticity, your courage, your spiritual resilience, they are not just gifts to yourself, but to the collective. Every time you choose to live in alignment, you create a ripple effect that reaches far beyond what you can imagine. So keep going, keep trusting, keep shining, because your light, no matter how small it may feel, has the power to illuminate the path not just for you, but for countless others. And in the end, that's what makes all the difference. You don't need the world to understand you. You just need to understand yourself. And when you do, you'll find that you were never truly alone. The universe has been with you every step of the way, cheering you on, celebrating your courage and guiding you toward a life of purpose, peace, and unparalleled strength.